This video is to show a brief demonstration of how the warping and effects stylize work in Illustrator. First, we'll need to open a letter-sized document. And again, these instructions are found in the downloadable instruction PDF. So again, you can go to size, letter instead of custom. Again, don't worry about bleeds or margins. 300 ppi is fine, and CMYK mode is fine. So again, this is just to demonstrate how the warping tool works and how to create the first logo. The first one, I believe I created at 5.5 by 1. To create a rectangle, just by clicking and letting go. Then we'll need to go to the Add Anchor Point, which is below the Pen tool, and click at about the middle point of the sides. And if you need to adjust where your point is, simply go to the Direct Select and move it up or down. Also, smart guides will help you see the position of them at some point. Now with the Direct Select still chosen, you can click, hold, drag through, or click and hold the Shift key down and click. Then you can use the cursor key to move the arrow, to make an arrowhead, excuse me. We will need to remove the stroke and add a fill of red. You can do that either by going down here and choosing a red, or I tend to prefer just using 100% of magenta and yellow. Then move that into position. The next part of this is we will create the We're Open, and Myriad Pro Bold or Semi-Bold, I cannot recall exactly. And let's try 48. Please follow your instructions as given, and we will fill it with white. And at this point we need to add shadows to both shapes but separately. So we will select the We're Open, go to Effect, Stylize, Drop Shadow, and I usually just use the default. You can click the preview and see how that will look. Say OK to that. Then also select this effect, Stylize, Drop Shadow, again the same thing. Now I will say, if you need to change or modify an effect, you need to go to the Appearance window, and you'll notice it has Drop Shadow listed in Appearance. This is where you'll change it. You don't go back to Effect, Stylize. That's different than InDesign. InDesign, you would go back to that effect area and change it from that. Here, if you do that, you're actually adding another drop shadow and another drop shadow. So using the Appearance window lets you edit the effect that is already in place. So, and of course, clicking on the effect part will let you modify it. Now, the last thing we'll need to do is we need to grab both of these. Again, with the selection arrow, click, hold, drag. You can certainly do that lower right, upper right, just so long as you're on the outside of the entire area. Then we'll go to Object, Group. Now we can do what's called a warping. And we need to get the arch warp. And I believe your handout says 35%. And no distortion horizontally or vertically. Now what I'll do is I'll show you that if we were to use the distortion, you'll see what will happen. How it narrows one side or the other based on the percentage being positive or negative and how much it is. So we'll set this back at 0. The vertical, here's the vertical, you'll see how this will warp it. Now this will be used in the second logo, the Rough Roads Ahead. So we'll say OK to that. And that is your first logo completed. Now if we had not done the shadow on We're Open first, if we had just grouped it and then done the drop shadow, it would have applied only to the entire shape. So please follow your instructions. If you have any questions, especially about the coffee logo, please let me know. But this will get you started and show you where the warp and stylize are located, as opposed to where they were in InDesign.